starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Good morning! Good morning! Look at it, we're outside.
It's great to see everyone. We're outside, aren't we? It's fabulous.
It is great. Do you know what? I mean, I just looked out this morning. I thought, do you know what? We need to do this outside. And here we are.
It's the only downside of this, Neil, is you live next to a main road and I live next to a busy road. So there's going to be occasions where we just get something thunder by, aren't there? But that's part of the fun. I'm nervous as well because I'm sat in the garden where we've got our bird feeder. So I'm expecting a horde of jackdaws or pigeons to land on my head or something.
We'll come back to that in a minute because let's just
so if it happens during the show, please, it's not a scene from what was that film?
The Birds.
It's just me being attacked by the birds. It's fine.
Okay. You haven't got bird seed on your hat, have you? You look very fetching in your vicar's collar and hat there. Very Midsummer Murderish.
You notice the reason for the hat is if I sit back, the reflection is just a bit too much. That stops the.
I haven't got I've got a massive great umbrella under here. So
the only other downside I've got is the garden chair I'm sat on. I can feel it gradually sinking. So if I kind of during this next half hour start going like this,
you're a bit wonky.
You know what's going on here.
Okay, right. Well, we're going to start off today with our National Day. National Day today is, of course, it's the National Tapas Day. Now, Mike, you've travelled well. Well, for those of you who don't know what tapas looks like, it looks like.
I'm going to go to explain to us what tapas is, Neil.
Tapas is Spanish for small food. So, cool. Your olives, your little dips and things like that. When you go to a Spanish restaurant, typically in Spain, and you order a drink, they'll bring you some tapas. Sometimes it's free. Actually, you can get tapas free in some places. So, and it's just like finger food, little dippy food. You know, back in the 70s, we used to have things on sticks. It's a bit like that, really. Only the Spanish have embraced it and made it a bit more exotic. So
it is brilliant. So, what's your favourite tapas then, Neil?
My favourite tapas is little meaty things. I love little meaty things. So I'm just looking here at this dish. They've got some eggs there, which are covered in. They look like eggs anyway.
Scotch eggs they look like, but I'm sure they're not Scotch eggs. Yeah,
you got some olives. You got some cheese as well.
I have to confess, my favourite is I do love olives, and I do love preserved vegetables, in oil. So things like what they call peppers and aubergine and things like that in oil. I really enjoy with a nice bit of bread. Just very, very healthy and very, very enjoyable, and it always goes down well with a nice glass of wine or a nice beer. They do a similar thing in Italy when we've been to Italy. When you at a certain time in the evening, you'll order a drink, and it comes with something. And because you've said tapas now, I cannot for the life of me remember what the Italian name of it is. Maybe Jason or one of the other listeners will tell us. But it's just that nice thing to have a nibble, and I think we miss it. In the UK, we have something similar as tapas, don't we? When we go to the pub, it's called pork scratchings.
Yeah, but not only that. A lot of people in Spain have done like miniature tapas English style. So you get like a little bowl of curry and a little bowl of rice and little cheeseburgers and things like that. Not quite the tapas food that you would use.
But I guess it's that whole concept though of in a pub in the UK, you'll get a pack of crisps or you'll get something like that to nibble with your drink, and it's similar concept. But the Spanish have just taken it to another level, haven't they? Which is wonderful. I do love tapas, do love it. The only problem is when you go to a tapas bar and they say, "What do you want to order?" I just don't like that. What I'd rather them do is say, "How many dishes would you like? 10, 20 or 30?" And then just bring out whatever. You can have 30 tapas dishes between two or three of you. It's only small. But if they didn't tell you what you were getting and they just brought it out, it would make life. I hate making decisions about food.
But with tapas, though, if you get like small dishes and there's like 5 of you, and you're like, I really like those, and then it's like someone nicks the last one. It's like, yeah. Or do you do that? Does anybody else want it? Anyone? And everyone goes, no, it's fine. And inside you're going, actually, yes, I do want it. Yes, I want that. Yes.
And that's the English way of doing it, isn't it? Before you get the attack of the cocktail sticks to try and grab it.
Yeah. Well, do you use cocktail? We went to Germany a few years ago to visit a friend of ours over there, and he on the Friday night he said, right, where do you want to go? But in a German accent. And he said, I'm not going to do a German accent. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And so I said, I want to go to a typical German restaurant. I was thinking like, sausage or schnitzel or something like that. He goes, yeah, fine. So we went into the centre of Cologne and down this lovely lane, which was covered in fairy lights, and came to a tapas bar. Apparently,
nice.
the national food for Germany is tapas, according to him.
No. Having lived in Germany for 8 years, it is definitely not the national food.
I know.
But it might have been a favourite in that area. One of the things I do miss from Germany above all is the fact that the only thing you need for a party in Germany is a beer and a bratwurst, and you've got a party. And that used to be the wonderful thing. You'd walk through a town and they'd give you these beers in these little stumpy glasses, so you don't feel like you drink, they weren't pints, they were kind of a third of a pint.
Yeah.
So you don't feel bad having a dozen of them. Well, not quite that many, but one or two. But you'd always go, I'll have a bratwurst with it. And it was just so German.
Does it come in a roll?
The bratwurst? No, you have your sausage in one hand, and then quite often it comes with a roll next to it. If you put it in a roll, it then becomes a hot dog, and that's American, not German.
But a bratwurst, they're slightly spicy as well, aren't they?
No, that would be that's a different one. So bratwurst itself isn't spicy. You can have a Krakauer, which is slightly spicy as a sausage, or you can have a currywurst, which the bratwurst is sliced with the sauce on top and then some curry powder. So,
I think we need to do a barbecue special. We need to do a barbecue special. This is.
What I think the problem is, what the viewers are discovering here is, having travelled, I do like food. The other one this week that's worth knowing is I'm involved with St John Ambulance, and there we go, plane. They've launched a new campaign this week called Ask Me, which is a really important campaign, and we're going to see this on the news. We're going to see it all over the place, because they've even commissioned billboards in Camberley. So some of the bus shelters in Camberley will have St John Ambulance adverts on. It's going to be on the side of buses. And the Ask Me campaign is about Ask Me how first aid saves lives.
Oh, wow.
And that's such a big campaign. So, just think about the events on Saturday on the football pitch in Copenhagen.
Yeah.
The event first aiders were the first ones there to support them before the team doctors got there. It's about training people and making sure that people understand that some basics of life support save lives. And the big campaign since Saturday has been, remember, even in COVID times, you can do CPR. But what you need to do is don't give them the kiss of life. Put a cloth over the face and then just do chest compressions.
Staying alive. Stay. Ha 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 ha.
Don't even sing. Just keep going until somebody else.
Okay, all right. But
because
one thing I would like to say is his team or the footballers made like a circle and they linked arms.
It was amazing, wasn't it? I just watched that. I was in tears because, there's your mate injured. They can't do. I think it was the opposition captain was the first one on scene who started doing CPR, which I think all credit to them all credit to them all. Just brilliant.
Those two,
and I think that the referee was a British referee as well who reacted very, very fast.
Yeah. They came as one team. They all worked together, and that was. And
it was the best of football.
Yeah, and he's better. He's been tweeting, and he's saying thank you to everyone. It's sort of, with this Euro, it sort of set a bit of a standard, a bit of a preference. That basically is a game of football against two teams, but that we're all together. We're all together.
The other good side is, for the first time, England won their opening match and beat Croatia, which is just remarkable.
Did you celebrate?
I saw it on the news afterwards. I'm afraid I'm one of these football people that watches the news afterwards. But one of my church members and somebody as well, two people we both know, are off being what they called at Wembley, stewards. Volunteers at Wembley.
Yes. I know someone. She is a serial volunteerist. She volunteers for absolutely everything.
This other person as well is. So it'll be wonderful. I hope they have a fabulous time.
I'm sure.
But yeah, that's been the event of this week, the Ask Me stuff, and also the news this week's been really good about how many people have been vaccinated. Is just phenomenal. I think it said this morning 30 million have been double vaccinated.
Yeah, and they've opened up another vaccination point for young people in Wokingham.
Brilliant.
Which is going to be there for 2 weeks. So
And they reckon by the 19th of July, all adults eligible will have been offered the vaccine, which is wonderful.
Yeah, and Jason just pinged up that basically the Scouts.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've had this conversation with a lot of people that basically schools now don't really deal with money issues and just general living. You know, buying a house, getting a mortgage, what to do if you're getting an overdraft. I'm not going to say applying for loans because that's not the sort of thing we want to do, but just general money management. Yeah,
but it also goes down to cooking, doesn't it? I watched a new program the other night with our Prue on it, or Dame Prue now, isn't it? Which was about clever cooking, and it was a family, 2 doctors, very well off, with 3 children, and they were wasting thousands of pounds a year on food because they were throwing so much away. And it was Prue going in and just saying to them, look, why are you throwing that away? You can make that into another meal. And we were myself and Sue were watching it thinking, crikey, I'd hate them to come to our house because we don't have any waste at all. We're lucky if we fill one food waste bin a week because we just make sure we use everything. But there's some families out there that are so wasteful. So it was making the most of what you've got. And that's, it's not just money skills, it's life skills that we need for people, isn't it? So.
And this is where these organisations like the Scouts, Guides, St. John's Ambulance, they all come in. The amount of people who have said to me, "Oh, my kids don't know how to cook." Well, Scouting and Guiding, when you go away on a camp, that's the first thing you do. Or even on their evening, they learn how to cook. So if you feel that your child or young is lacking in certain skills, then teach them. Teach them how to cook.
Sorry, I'm just laughing. The sun's moved. I've moved, and the sun's followed me.
It's like smoke, isn't it? When you move around the bonfire, the smoke follows you. Yeah. So so start looking for activities. The activities are starting to open up now. So
absolutely, there's lots going on, and there's space in all these youth organisations for young people. So encourage your families, young people, to get out there, but get kids cooking. That is the key. As Jason's just said. But I've also noticed a good morning, gents, from Al. So good morning, Al, back.
I know.
And I thought of something about local news that was really important, and it's gone out of my head. So when we come to local news, hopefully it'll come back.
Okay, Jason, very, very good point as well, mentioning adders. Now, with this hot weather, the snakes do like to bask in the sun. They normally use sandy areas. So if there's a bit of grass and there's a bit of sand, sometimes you do get adders there. So please be very careful. And they will only bite basically if they feel they're threatened. So, and if you do get bitten by a snake, then please go and seek medical help straight away.
Did I ever tell you the story when I got bit by a snake?
No. Go on then. Please. Hang on. Let me just get my drink. Hang on. Off you go.
So when I was based at Abingdon, on the airfield there, we had some wonderful bushes of brambles, so blackberries, and it was that time of year, and I thought I've got to have blackberries because it's got to be done. So I'm out there picking blackberries, and I thought as I was picking blackberries, oh, ow, what was that? Oh, I've been thorned by a blackberry bush. Carried on picking, and the next morning in the shower, washed my leg and went, oh, that hurts, and looked down on my leg, and I had 2 holes. Perfect holes in my leg, and then looked at my combat trousers, and the holes were in the same place. And I just thought, oh crikey, I think I've been bitten by a snake. So the next morning went to the medical centre, and we had a wonderful nurse, and I said to her, I think I've been bitten by a snake when I was picking blackberries. And she said, what makes you think that? So I showed her the trousers and the holes in my leg. She measured it and went, oh yeah, you've definitely been bitten. She said, how do you feel? I said, I don't feel well now. She said, the good news is you're not dead yet. So obviously it didn't have any adverse reaction. Carry on with it. That's fair enough. So I got bit by a snake and hadn't realised it.
Okay, so Al has I think he's trumped you a bit.
He has there, he wins.
Yeah. So sorry, I heard about a huge should we change it? So sadly, I heard about a huge, large snake.
It was
massive snake. Yeah. Typical bloke thing. Twice put a dog in light water yesterday. So please be careful in light water because and also if you're going up to the top of High Curly as well, the prime area for snakes. It's just
just be cautious. Just be cautious, folks. So local news. What have we got on local news?
Local news. Well, what I'm going to say is, I'm going to say shop local. That's what
Yeah.
that's what I'm going to say. At the moment, local news is a little bit quiet. The mayor, Sarah Jane Croak, is doing a fantastic job. She's posting pictures here, there, and everywhere. She's opening up this, she's opening up that, she's visiting this, she's visiting that. If you see Sarah Jane, say hello. Say hello.
She's hard to miss with the red hair.
She is, and I'm interested to know: is it going to stay red? Do you think? Is it going to stay red?
I don't know. That is the question, isn't it? Will it stay red throughout? But also local news. Some of the shops are really appreciating your business. So shop local, chat to them. The shopkeepers are not there to be. Not there to be awkward. They're there to support you. Do chat to them. But also on local news, remember we've got another 4 weeks now of these restrictions. So keep an eye out on your neighbours as well. Keep a check on them, make sure they're okay. But there's also lots of things opening up as well. Lots of new shops coming into town and things. So keep an eye out for things that are new happening and be involved. And then we've also got in July events in Camberley like the Rooftop Film Festival and the Celebrate Camberley Day. So do remember that local things are happening and support them, please. Please support them.
Well, the Celebrate Camberley Day is going to be a bit of a for us.
24th of July.
24th of July. I'm planning on us doing a live show from. I don't know how. I don't know when. I need to speak to someone. Preferably you as well, just to let you know what's happening. But yeah, we're going to be doing a live show from somewhere around Camberley, which will be great. So we can get some people walking past and some viewers and that going, oh, look, they're doing something. That looks fun, doesn't it? Absolutely fun.
It's going to be great. So, that is the local message. There was something really important I thought of locally that's happening. And this week, the Prickly Pear opened, didn't it? Which is big news. Or was that last week?
Last week.
Okay.
Well,
I'm sure there was something else, and I just can't. My brain.
It's all right because I got the day wrong last week, so you're getting it wrong this week. That's fine. I can cope with that. So yeah, so the Prickly Pear did open last week, and
there was something else I was going to say, and I've totally forgotten. But do shop local, but also be aware locally that there's of your own property. There's been a couple of incidents in Camberley and various other areas around Surrey Heath of people being pickpocketed. There's been a couple of incidents of cars being broken into. So, if you're leaving your car, remember it might be hot, but don't leave your windows open because that's asking for people to break in. But if you've got a dog in the car, please make sure you leave the window open. And don't leave pets in hot cars. Take them out because pets die in hot cars.
Can I just say, don't leave a dog in a hot car. Yeah, it's quite simple. A dog doesn't have to be in a car. If you're going to the shop, take the dog. Just tie it up outside. So I'll think of them as just posted a massive great. If I post it, it's going to cover half us up.
So should we just say what it says? There's Al's created a Facebook page called Buy Local Surrey Heath. For local businesses to share information about themselves. So, keep an eye out for that Facebook page, Buy Local Surrey Heath. And I've just remembered the thing that I was remembering that I'd forgot.
Go on then. What is it?
Is that a sentence? I've just remembered the thing I was remembering that I forgot. It is. It works.
Yes,
so this week is Camberley Open Gardens. Camberley Open Gardens is organised by an amazing lady called Sarah Weasley. So if you look on Camberley Gardeners on Facebook, or Google Camberley Gardeners, Camberley Open Gardens, you can book a ticket to go and have a look at Open Gardens. And the garden tickets are £3.50 each. And all money raised is going to the Hope Hub in Camberley, in Surrey Heath. So please do support Camberley Open Gardens. And what are you doing?
Sorry, I think I just had a little money spider.
Okay, fair enough.
Web around my face, and it's like
Camberley Open Gardens is an amazing thing. Do have a look for tickets and look on Camberley Gardeners on Facebook or Google Camberley Open Gardens. And money's going to the Hope Hub. It's a great project. I took a load of plants down yesterday for the plant sale, which will be wonderful.
Okay, right.
Jason's just shared the Facebook group there, so. But that segues in quite nicely into garden projects. Doesn't it?
Garden project with this lovely weather we're having here. Garden projects are on the right. As with last year, I think it's a continuation. Basically, people haven't stopped making things in their garden.
What have you been making in your garden, Neil?
Not a lot.
Okay, fair enough.
Not unlike you, of course, because you use things like this, don't you?
Yeah, I acquired last year a couple of pallets.
Do you create things like this, or
no?
I like that. No. No.
This is just all too posh. I made, so you can see in the distance, I made a bird table, which is sawing a piece of wood and putting 4 holes in it.
Yeah.
But this is one of the better ones I made. Hang on, let me try and lift it. Is this, which is a planter, which has sedums in it, which are grown really nice. And that was, we went to the RHS at Wisley, and we saw them do put sedums in a picture frame, and I thought, oh, I could do something like that. And that was what myself and my daughter came up with, which worked really well. But we've made a toad abode, you know, for frogs to go into, frogs and toads to go in around the pond.
Yes.
We've made bird boxes, which we've had residents in this year. And I'm thinking, actually, the next one is I might make a hedgehog house, because I've still got some of the wood left. So that might be the next project.
And the thing is, pallets are readily available. They are absolutely everywhere. But you have to ask before you take. Don't just go and take it, because
you do. And if
sometimes
you're doing a garden project, don't acquire one that's been painted, because sometimes the paint's noxious to the animals. So you want one that's not been treated with paint.
One of the downsides of broadcasting from outside is I've just found something in my orange juice, but never mind.
Was it doing black backstroke or front crawl?
I think it was trying to dive to the bottom.
Okay. It's nutrition, don't worry.
It is nutrition. Crunchy. So pallets are very, very available. Please ask first. But if you want to post up any of your creations, then that would be great. We'd love to see some of your creations on pallets. But garden projects aren't just pallets, are they? They're also flowers, making things out of flowers.
Huge makeovers as well. You know, my garden at the moment is predominantly green, but I'm quite happy with that. But there's all sorts, you know, garden makeovers has become a big thing, hasn't it?
It has. Tell us about your So you were a big pusher for No Mow May, weren't you?
So I succumbed and mowed the grass yesterday. But we did No Mow May, and the intention of No Mow May is that you leave your grass to grow so that the bugs and the insects and things all have space to develop. And we would have a plethora of birds in the garden eating the ants and eating the bugs, because it just encourages that natural ecosystem that you won't get when you cut your grass to within half an inch of its life. It just allows nature to take its course. And then certainly the grasses, until I wish I took a picture last week, actually, the variety of grass and seed heads in the garden was unbelievable. And it was my son that made me cut it down, because we discovered he has an allergy to grass pollen. So so we cut it down. But the front garden, we've still left with, we're not mowing the front garden at all, because
do you do the boundary thing where you cut round the edge of it?
Yeah, so in the front I cut round the edge so it looks like we've not abandoned it. But then in the middle it's left because we've got wildflower seeds in there. So we've had some cornflowers coming up, some crane's bills coming up and things. It looks really nice. And we've got a natural English hedgerow we planted this year at the front as well. But it's quite amusing sitting in my study, looking out at people, and they chatting to the person they're walking with. And I know the conversation's either going, oh, doesn't that look nice? How pretty are those flowers? Or, oh, they've not cut the garden yet. How lazy. But you know, I don't care which it is, but I know what it is, and it looks nice and tidy. And it's, you know, the wildlife in there, the little critters, as they call, they're thriving. But
I know what your son meant, because we had a similar thing here. Where basically I killed off our grass, so we didn't mow it for like, I don't know. Well, we mowed it. I think I succumbed sort of a couple of weeks ago, mowed it, but the grass was really high. And then we decided that we were going to start having people over and things like that. So. And there became a danger of ticks and snakes, and also foxes as well. We found imprints of animals in the grass.
Sorry, when you said a danger of foxes, I just had the image of your grass being that big that you're walking through your garden and suddenly a fox goes boom. But ticks are a big one, and I think that's worth saying to everyone. Whether your grass is cut short or long, ticks are an issue. So please, you know, check yourself and any pets for ticks, and whatever you do, don't pull them out with your fingers. You need to be very careful and follow the advice online is the key. And I just noticed we've missed an event this Saturday, haven't we?
We have. It's
Camberley Farmers and Artisans Market this Saturday in Camberley, and that was I knew I'd seen something advertised and totally forgotten. So we need to slap ourselves.
We always go to the market. Two reasons. One, because there's a lovely fudge seller who sells fantastic
the fudge. Oh, yeah.
and it's amazing. But also, it's just great to see what is for sale out there. There I think there's butcher stands. There's
my favorite. I'll be honest. There's a guy that does salt beef bagels.
Salt beef bagels.
Yeah, if you've not had a salt beef bagel at the farmer's market, you've got to try it. It's a £5, and it's worth every penny. It is gorgeous.
Oh wow! Okay, so that's it then. That's Saturday done.
Yep.
Down to the farmers market. 10 till 3 o'clock.
Yep.
10 till 3. I think it is. Hang on, let me just look at the times. Yeah, 10 till 3 o'clock.
Yep.
So we will be down there. And today is National Fudge Day. Okay, Jason, we've done the National Day today. It's tapas today.
We're doing tapas, not fudge. We're being savoury, not sweet. But yeah,
I haven't got any pictures of fudge. I'm sorry.
But I would say with garden projects as well, going back to that, whatever you do, be very careful, because the most injuries that people have is from doing DIY, believe it or not. So be sensible, be careful when you're doing stuff. And when we're doing things in our own homes, we all take risks we shouldn't take, don't we? And
also,
I've now been banned from Mrs. T from I'm not allowed up a ladder, even a step ladder, without her being around.
Can I also say flip-flops are not suitable for drilling in. Okay, drilling, cutting, anything like that. You don't do that in flip. The amount of people. Okay, I was walking down the road the other day. This isn't a joke. I was walking down the road the other day, and there was a bloke cutting a tile using an angle grinder, baby angle grinder, and there's dust and that going everywhere. Anyway, the dust cleared, and he's standing there, all right, in a t-shirt, shorts, and a pair of flip-flops. And steel toe cap flip-flops, yes, obviously. But
you've got to be careful. I did some stuff in our garage about a year ago, and they changed the gas meter, so they left the old gas pipe in, and I borrowed an angle grinder off my neighbour to grind the old pipe off to get rid of it. And the pipe came off, but as I finished, the disc then split and went across the garage. And if I'd not had trousers on, it would have impaled in my leg. But because I had long trousers on, it bounced off. So it's, do be careful, folks. And it's so easy. That's why they're called accidents. But a lot of these accidents, we use a bit of common sense. We can prevent ourselves ending up in hospital. And the other classic one people don't do is when they're doing jobs is protecting the eyes. Put a pair of goggles on.
Or sunglasses, even goggles, sunglasses, or even just normal reading glasses.
Protect your eyes, because it is so dangerous. But the other one that people don't do a lot when they're doing stuff in the garden is think about people walking past. So how many times have you seen somebody cutting the hedge or trimming the garden, the grass at the front, and they just carry on when somebody walks past? It's kind of stop, think of other people as well for that couple of seconds.
I had one yesterday. I was driving along in the summer. You drive all windows down, stereo blaring, sunglasses on, looking cool. Well, I think I look cool anyway. And I was in this traffic, and we were just creeping by. Someone was watering their grass. Guess what happened?
You got watered.
I did. Yeah. And the bloke in the car in front of me had a few choice words to say to him. I just smiled and waved, but I thought,
I've got a funny one on that, but not to do with the summer. When I did mountain rescue years ago, we used to park our Land Rovers outside, and they had a roof rack with a cover on. And we were going down this road, blue lights onto a job, went round a corner, and there was a lorry driver. It was a sunny winter's day. Lorry driver with his window down and his arm on his thing. As we went out round the corner, all the ice and water that had slightly de-iced on top of the roof rack emptied itself on the lorry driver's lap. And it was one of those, where there was 2 or 3 of us saw it in the rearview mirror and just burst, laughing. But there was nothing you could do because we were on the way to somebody, and you just had to get. Bless him.
Can I say something, Mike? I mean, I love doing the show with you every week. When you have,
I come out with something random, don't I? Always.
You do so many. You have a story for absolutely everything. But it's not just a case of when you talk to someone, they go, "Oh, I've done that. It's a story with a quirky ending to it, which is fantastic.
And it's. I think what's wonderful, what's disturbing is I was talking to somebody the other day. I've ended up doing so many things in my 40 odd years that it's just hilarious. And you kind of go, how have I fitted it all in? And then I think, no wonder I want to retire. I've had it.
He didn't
I've
mean
done,
that.
you know,
He didn't mean that, guys. Okay, he's not retiring. All right, I'm just
I'm
put
not
that out there.
retiring. I'm not retiring, but I sometimes think I've done in the 40 years I've had, 40 odd years I've had, more than some people do in 80. So yeah, God, keeps me out of mischief.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay, right.
Keeps us fun.
I'm thinking,
But we've been waffling 30 minutes, haven't we?
well, but apparently we're getting tarnished with the two old blokes who just sit there and chat. So do you know what? I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that. Yes, I'm not old though. All right, just two blokes chatting. I think we'll do that.
Can I
one
say?
thing
Can
yeah.
I just say for the record, I am younger than Neil by several years. I think I can say, I'm going to say this now because at the time it felt like a lifetime. Now it doesn't feel too old. But Neil will have left secondary school before I started. That's all I'm saying.
That's that's really spooky. I mean, I started earning money before you as well.
I'm quite happy with that.
Okay, next week I'm thinking we do a barbecue. I'm thinking I've now got cameras and stuff and that, so we can do a barbecue.
Can we wait and see what the weather's doing first? Because knowing your luck, you say we'll do a barbecue and it'll absolutely bounce it down.
Okay, so if it's raining, it'll be indoors. No, it won't be indoors. Yeah, well, but if it's nice, we'll do a barbecue outside. I think we'll do a streamed barbecue, and we'll get our resident chef Jason.
Yeah,
Jason there to come and do the barbecue, so he can do.
We could get him to do tapas on the barbecue.
Yes, we consider eating tapas while he's cooking on the barbecue. That would be fantastic. That would be great.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that Jason's just put that we do need to mention, really important, in the last 2 weeks, the number of cases of COVID in Surrey Heath has gone up. So, 2 weeks ago we had 4 cases of COVID. This week we've got 79. So please, be very careful out there. Remember, hands, face and space. You may have had your 2 jabs, but make sure you still take precautions. And if you need help, if you need support, ring the Surrey Heath Borough Council contact centre on that number below, 01276 707 100. But do not be blasé. Just because you've had your jab, it won't prevent you from passing on COVID or potentially contracting this Delta variant. So please be careful out there, folks.
Yes, please do. And we are going to see you.
And we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we will see you all next week. Stay safe, and remember that if you're out in the sun, suntan lotion. If you're out in the sun working, hat and suntan lotion and glasses.
And can we end very soon, because I'm having a real problem here in the garden. That some of the viewers may have noticed that I'm kind of going this way a bit. My seat is sinking, so I'm going to have to move, because if I don't, I'm going to end up in the flower bed.
All right, we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.
See you next week. Bye.